You can gently drift to sleep to this calm and soothing yet profound narration of the Marcus Aurelius's entire philosophy, and you can subscribe too for more such videos and comment below from which part of the planet you're tuned in. With that, let's begin. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. The philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, deeply rooted in the ancient tradition of Stoicism, offers a profound and enduring framework for navigating the complexities of human existence. It is not a collection of abstract theories, but a practical guide, a rigorous training regimen for the mind and spirit designed to cultivate inner tranquility, resilience, and a sense of purpose amidst life's inevitable challenges. At its core, Aurelius's teachings emphasize the absolute necessity of distinguishing between what is within our control and what lies beyond it. This fundamental principle, often referred to as the dichotomy of control, is the bedrock upon which all other Stoic wisdom rests. He urges us to meticulously examine every situation, every thought, every emotion, and ruthlessly categorize it. Is this something I can influence directly through my actions, my judgments, my choices? Or is it an external event, the behavior of others, a natural phenomenon, or a circumstance of fate over which I possess no true power? The Stoic wisdom, as articulated by Aurelius in his Meditations, instructs us to channel all our energy, all our concern, into that which falls within our sphere of influence. Our opinions, our impulses, our desires, our aversions, these are entirely our own. Our interpretations of events, our reactions to adversity, our moral character, our efforts to act justly and kindly. These are the only things that truly belong to us, the only things that can be truly good or bad based on our own will. Conversely, everything external to this inner domain, our health, our wealth, our reputation, the actions of other people, political outcomes, the weather, even our physical death, are deemed indifferent. This does not mean they are unimportant in a practical sense or that we should be apathetic towards them. Rather, it means that their value, their capacity to truly harm or benefit us, is entirely dependent on our internal judgment, our interpretation, and our response. A Stoic understands that external circumstances can be challenging, even catastrophic, but they cannot, by themselves, rob us of our inner peace or our virtue unless we permit them to do so. The harm, if any, comes not from the event itself, but from our judgment about the event. This distinction empowers us, shifting the locus of control from the unpredictable external world to the steadfast, rational mind within. By consistently practicing this discernment, we begin to reclaim our agency, to free ourselves from the constant emotional turbulence caused by clinging to things we cannot control, and to focus on perfecting the only thing that truly matters, our character. Marcus Aurelius also deeply contemplates the nature of the universe and our place within it. He views the cosmos as a single, living organism governed by an intelligent and benevolent principle he calls nature, reason, or the logos. This universal reason permeates everything, ordering events with perfect rationality and purpose. For humans, to live in accordance with nature means to live in accordance with our own highest faculty, reason. We are unique among creatures in our capacity for rational thought, for moral judgment, and for communal existence. Our reason is a spark of the divine logos, an internal guide that enables us to understand the world, to make ethical choices, and to contribute to the greater good of humanity. When we act irrationally, when we allow our passions to dominate, when we succumb to anger, fear, or excessive desire, we are acting contrary to our true nature, contrary to the very essence of our being. The pursuit of wisdom, therefore, is not merely an intellectual exercise, but a moral imperative, a continuous effort to align our individual reason with the universal reason that governs all things. This alignment brings not just intellectual understanding, but also a deep sense of peace and belonging, a conviction that we are playing our destined role in a perfectly ordered universe. It offers solace in the face of suffering, an understanding that even perceived misfortunes are part of a larger, rational design. This perspective fosters a profound sense of interconnectedness. We are not isolated individuals, but integral parts of a larger whole, like a hand is part of a body. Just as the hand must act for the benefit of the body, so too must each human being act for the benefit of humanity. Our duty, our purpose, is to serve the common good, to contribute to the flourishing of the human community. This cosmopolitan view extends beyond geographical boundaries, embracing all rational beings as fellow citizens of the city of the world. Our actions, therefore, must always be weighed against their impact on others, guided by principles of justice, kindness, and empathy. The Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature thus encompasses not only self-mastery and rational thought, but also a deep commitment to social responsibility and universal benevolence. It is a philosophy that turns inward to build strength, only to turn outward in service. The wise person understands that true self-interest is inextricably linked with the welfare of all. To harm another is to harm oneself, for we are all interconnected parts of the same rational universe. This fundamental understanding underpins the Stoic call for universal love and shared responsibility, encouraging us to see every person as a kin, a fellow traveler on the journey of existence, deserving of our respect and benevolent consideration. It challenges us to look beyond superficial differences and recognize the shared humanity that binds us all. The concept of impermanence, or the fleeting nature of all things, is another central pillar in Marcus Aurelius's philosophy. He repeatedly reminds himself, and by extension us, that everything in the material world is subject to change, decay, and eventual dissolution. From the mightiest empires to the grandest monuments, from our own physical bodies to the most cherished relationships, nothing lasts forever. All is ephemeral, he writes, both that which remembers and that which is remembered. This constant awareness of mortality and transience is not meant to induce despair or nihilism, but rather to serve as a powerful catalyst for living more fully, more virtuously, and with a greater sense of urgency in the present moment. By acknowledging that life is short and uncertain, we are encouraged to strip away trivial concerns, to focus on what truly matters, our character, our actions, our moral choices, and to waste no time on anger, resentment, or meaningless pursuits. Why cling desperately to external possessions or ephemeral pleasures when they are destined to slip through our grasp? Why harbor grievances against those who will soon vanish, just as we ourselves will? Instead, this understanding of impermanence frees us. It liberates us from the anxiety of holding on to what cannot be held, allowing us to appreciate beauty and experience joy without the crushing fear of their inevitable end. It urges us to embrace change as a natural process, an inherent part of the universal flux, rather than resisting it futilely. Every moment, every breath is a gift, a fleeting opportunity to exercise our reason, to act justly, to contribute to the common good. The past is gone, beyond our control. The future is uncertain, equally beyond our control. All we have is this present moment, this singular point in time where our agency resides. Therefore, the Stoic imperative is to live fully and virtuously in the now, making each action a testament to our commitment to reason and virtue, knowing that each moment is a preparation for the next, and ultimately for our inevitable end. This constant meditation on death is not morbid. It is life-affirming. It is a sharp reminder to live each day as if it were our last, with integrity, purpose, and a serene acceptance of what is. It transforms fear into motivation, turning a potentially paralyzing truth into a powerful engine for ethical living. Aurelius places immense emphasis on self-discipline and the rigorous training of the mind. He sees philosophy not as an academic subject, but as a way of life, a daily practice. The Meditationes, his personal journal, is essentially a record of this ongoing self-correction, a series of mental exercises designed to reinforce Stoic principles and guard against common human failings. He constantly scrutinizes his own thoughts, judgments, and reactions, challenging impulses that deviate from reason and virtue. This self-examination involves recognizing and dissecting negative emotions such as anger, fear, grief, and excessive desire. He understands that these emotions arise not from external events themselves, but from our faulty judgments about those events. For example, anger stems from the judgment that someone has wronged us or that something unfair has happened, rather than simply accepting what has occurred as a neutral fact. The Stoic practice involves reevaluating these judgments, correcting them, and thereby diffusing the emotional response. This mental training also includes developing indifference to pain and pleasure, not by becoming numb, but by understanding their transient nature and their inability to truly affect our inner core. Physical pain, while unpleasant, is distinct from the judgment we attach to it. We can choose how we react to it, whether to allow it to overwhelm us or to observe it with a degree of detachment. Similarly, pleasure, while enjoyable, is not inherently good or bad. Its pursuit can lead us astray if it becomes our primary motivator. The goal is not to eliminate feelings, but to govern them, to ensure that they do not dictate our actions or corrupt our reason. This requires constant vigilance, a readiness to challenge our initial reactions, and to apply rational thought to every situation. It is a continuous process of self-improvement, a lifelong commitment to honing our inner fortress, making it impervious to external disturbances and internal weaknesses. This disciplined approach fosters a robust internal freedom, where our happiness and peace are not contingent on external circumstances, but are firmly rooted in our own virtuous choices and rational acceptance. Another critical aspect of Aurelius's Stoicism is the practice of cognitive reframing, or changing our perspective on events. When faced with adversity, he encourages us to look at it from different angles, to see it as an opportunity for growth, a chance to exercise virtues like patience, courage, or resilience. A difficulty is not merely a problem, it is a test, a training ground for the soul. He writes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This profound insight transforms obstacles into pathways, turning what might seem like misfortune into an essential component of our development. Instead of lamenting, "Why me?" the Stoic asks, "What can I learn from this?" Or, "How can I use this to practice virtue?" This proactive approach prevents us from becoming victims of circumstance and instead positions us as active participants in our own growth. It redefines what it means to suffer, viewing suffering not as an ultimate evil, but as a potential catalyst for character building. Furthermore, Aurelius advocates for regularly contemplating the triviality of many human concerns when viewed against the vastness of time and the universe. Our worries about reputation, wealth, social status, or the petty squabbles of daily life often seem insignificant when contrasted with the cosmic scale. This broader perspective helps to detach us from anxieties, allowing us to prioritize what truly matters, our moral character and our contribution to the common good. It encourages us to step back from the immediacy of our emotional reactions and to observe our lives with a detached philosophical gaze, seeing ourselves as tiny specks in a grand unfolding drama. This practice diminishes the power of external opinions and societal pressures, allowing us to focus on our internal compass of reason and virtue. By reframing our challenges, by seeing them as opportunities, and by placing our lives within a cosmic context, Aurelius provides us with powerful tools to cultivate a serene and resilient mind, capable of facing any trial with equanimity and purpose. It is a deliberate shift in mental attitude that can radically alter our experience of life. The concept of accepting fate, or amor fati, love of fate, is woven throughout Marcus Aurelius's reflections and is a defining characteristic of his Stoicism. This is not a passive resignation or a defeatist surrender to whatever happens, but rather an active and affirmative embrace of all that occurs. He believes that since the universe is governed by a benevolent and rational logos, every event, even those that appear tragic or inconvenient, is a necessary and integral part of the larger cosmic plan. To resist what happens is to resist the very nature of the universe, an irrational and ultimately futile act that only generates suffering. Instead, the Stoic sage cultivates a deep appreciation for the unfolding of events, understanding that whatever happens to you has been ready for you since all time. The weaving of fate has spun the one together with the other. This perspective means not just enduring what happens, but actively welcoming it, seeing it as precisely what is meant to be, and finding within it an opportunity to practice virtue. This love of fate extends to understanding that we ourselves are part of this grand design. Our life, our death, our circumstances, all are intertwined with the universal order. By accepting our place in this grand scheme, we achieve a profound sense of peace. There is no point in wishing things were different, no benefit in complaining about what fate has delivered. Our only rational response is to use what is given to us, to work with the material of our lives, whatever it may be, and to respond to it with our best possible virtue. This radical acceptance frees us from the tyranny of what if and if only, allowing us to fully engage with the present reality. It transforms adversity into an affirmation of life, allowing us to see meaning and purpose even in suffering. It is a powerful antidote to anxiety and regret, fostering a robust internal freedom that comes from aligning our will with the universal will, confident that whatever happens, it is ultimately for the best within the grand tapestry of existence. Marcus Aurelius also constantly reminds himself of the transient nature of human glory and reputation. He reflects on the countless individuals who have lived and died, their names and achievements now utterly forgotten. Empires rise and fall, philosophers are celebrated and then fade into obscurity, and even the most powerful rulers ultimately meet the same fate as the common person. A tiny fraction of an individual's life of endless time, he muses. This contemplation serves to deflate our ego and diminish the allure of external validation. Why strive desperately for the applause of others, for fame that is fleeting and ultimately meaningless in the vast sweep of cosmic time? Why allow our peace of mind to be disturbed by criticism or praise when both are equally ephemeral? The only true measure of a life, in Aurelius's view, is the cultivation of virtue and the performance of duty, irrespective of external recognition. This rejection of the pursuit of fame is not a call to apathy, but rather a redirection of focus. It frees us from the need to impress others and allows us to concentrate on improving our inner character. Our actions should be guided by reason and a commitment to the common good, not by the desire for public acclaim. The only audience that truly matters is our own conscience and the universal reason that guides all things. By understanding the insignificance of earthly glory, we are empowered to live authentically, to act with integrity even when unobserved, and to find satisfaction in the inherent goodness of our virtuous deeds. This practice fosters humility, stripping away the illusions of self-importance and reminding us that our true worth lies not in what others think of us, but in the quality of our character and the purity of our intentions. It is a powerful mental exercise for overcoming vanity and focusing on what is truly within our control and truly eternal, our virtue. The importance of acting justly and for the common good is a recurring theme in the meditations, stemming directly from the Stoic understanding of interconnectedness and our place in the cosmic whole. Aurelius emphasizes that humans are rational, social beings designed by nature to live in community and to cooperate with one another. What is not good for the beehive is not good for the bee, he famously states. This analogy encapsulates the idea that individual flourishing is inextricably linked to the well-being of the collective. Our actions, therefore, must always be guided by a sense of duty to humanity, a commitment to justice, and a willingness to contribute positively to the world around us. This means treating others with respect, kindness, and fairness, even those who act unjustly towards us. It means extending our benevolence to all rational beings, recognizing them as fellow citizens of the world. To act justly is to act in accordance with our rational nature, fulfilling our unique human purpose. When we act selfishly, when we harm others, or when we neglect our duties to the community, we are acting contrary to our true essence. Such actions not only cause harm to others, but also corrupt our own character, disturbing our inner peace. The pursuit of virtue, particularly the cardinal virtue of justice, is thus not merely an external obligation, but an internal necessity for our own well-being. Aurelius, as emperor, constantly grappled with the immense responsibility of governing justly, of making decisions that served the best interests of his vast empire. His writings reflect a deep commitment to this principle, reminding himself daily to act with wisdom, fairness, and a genuine concern for his subjects. This emphasis on civic duty and universal benevolence transforms Stoicism from a purely personal philosophy into a powerful guide for ethical engagement with the world, urging us to be active agents of good in our communities. Finally, Marcus Aurelius frequently returns to the idea that the only true evil is moral evil, a corruption of our own character, and that external events are indifferent. He tirelessly works to internalize the understanding that nothing outside of our own moral choices can truly harm us or make us unhappy. Sickness, poverty, pain, criticism, death, these are all external circumstances that do not diminish our inherent worth or our capacity for virtue. The only thing that can truly diminish us is our own irrational judgment, our own surrender to negative emotions, our own failure to act in accordance with reason and virtue. If we maintain our inner integrity, if we exercise our capacity for rational thought and virtuous action, then no external misfortune can touch our inner core. This radical internalization of good and evil empowers us profoundly. It means that our happiness, our peace, and our sense of fulfillment are entirely within our own hands. We are not victims of circumstance, but masters of our own inner world. The Stoic goal is to cultivate an inner fortress, a citadel of virtue and reason that is impregnable to the assaults of fortune. This fortress is built through constant self-awareness, disciplined thought, and a steadfast commitment to living according to nature. When we understand that true harm comes only from within, from our own moral failings, we are freed from the fear of external events. We can face any challenge with courage and equanimity, knowing that our essential well-being remains intact as long as our character remains uncorrupted. This bedrock principle provides an unwavering foundation for a life of resilience, purpose, and enduring tranquility, allowing us to navigate the turbulent seas of existence with a steady hand and a clear mind. It strips away all the false notions of what constitutes a good or bad life and points directly to our own moral choices as the sole determinants. The practice of negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum, is a powerful and frequently employed technique in Marcus Aurelius' Stoic arsenal. This involves consciously contemplating potential misfortunes, the loss of loved ones, the onset of illness, financial ruin, public disgrace, or even death itself. Far from being a morbid exercise, its purpose is profoundly therapeutic and preparatory. By mentally rehearsing these adversities, we diminish their shock value should they actually occur. We prepare our minds for the inevitable hardships of life, thereby reducing the intensity of our emotional reactions when they arrive. Aurelius understood that much of our suffering comes not from the event itself, but from our unpreparedness for it, our initial resistance and shock. If we have already considered the possibility, if we have mentally processed its implications, we are better equipped to face it with equanimity. This technique also cultivates a deep sense of gratitude for the present moment and for the good things we currently possess. By imagining the absence of our health, our loved ones, or our comfort, we come to appreciate them more fully while they are still with us. It prevents us from taking things for granted and fosters a sense of thankfulness for what is, rather than perpetually longing for what is not. When we contemplate the loss of a friend, we are reminded to cherish their presence now. When we imagine a period of illness, we appreciate our current health. Negative visualization, therefore, is not about dwelling on the negative, but about strengthening our resilience, deepening our appreciation, and reinforcing the Stoic principle that we should only concern ourselves with what is within our control. By accepting the possibility of misfortune, we free ourselves from the constant anxiety of trying to prevent the unpreventable, and instead focus on our virtuous response to whatever life may bring. It is a practical mental exercise to fortify the mind against future shocks and to enhance present contentment, a stark contrast to the modern self-help emphasis on only positive thinking. Aurelius consistently emphasizes the importance of present moment awareness. He frequently reminds himself that the past is gone and the future is uncertain, and that the only time we truly possess is the present. Do not let your imagination be troubled by your whole life, he advises. Don't let your mind be split by various troubles. Deal only with the present, and say to yourself, this is all I need. This focus on the now is critical for avoiding the anxieties that arise from dwelling on past regrets or future fears. By fully engaging with the task or experience at hand, we cultivate mindfulness and prevent our minds from being scattered by irrelevant concerns. Each moment offers an opportunity to act with reason and virtue, to perform our duty, to be present with others, or to simply observe the world around us. This present moment awareness is not just about mental tranquility, it is also about effective action. When we are fully present, we can apply our reason more effectively, make better decisions, and respond more appropriately to the demands of the moment. It is a way of reclaiming our mental energy from unproductive rumination and directing it towards purposeful engagement. For Aurelius, as a busy emperor, this would have been a crucial tool for managing the immense pressures of his office, allowing him to focus on the immediate task without being overwhelmed by the weight of the entire empire. By practicing this constant return to the present, we learn to appreciate the simple reality of what is, freeing ourselves from the mental prisons of past and future, and grounding ourselves in the only time where our will can truly operate. It encourages a life of concentrated, purposeful engagement rather than one diffused by distractions and worries. The role of reason as our highest faculty and guiding principle is foundational to Marcus Aurelius's Stoicism. He believes that humans are endowed with a unique capacity for rational thought, a spark of the divine logos, and that our primary duty is to cultivate and live in accordance with this reason. No longer let yourself be a puppet pulled by strings, he urges, referring to the strings of passion, external opinion, or unexamined impulse. Reason is the inner pilot, the guiding star that allows us to distinguish between good and evil, to make sound judgments, to control our impulses, and to understand our place in the cosmic order. It is our means of understanding nature and aligning our individual will with the universal will. When we act irrationally, when we allow our emotions or desires to dictate our behavior, we are acting contrary to our true nature and squandering our most precious gift. The cultivation of reason involves continuous self-scrutiny, rigorous logic, and a commitment to truth. It means questioning our assumptions, examining our judgments, and always seeking to understand the underlying causes of events and behaviors. Reason allows us to see things clearly, stripped of the emotional overlays that often distort our perception. It is the tool by which we apply the dichotomy of control, identify what is truly good or bad, and embrace fate. For Aurelius, the philosopher is essentially a rational trainer, constantly exercising and strengthening their faculty of reason, making it sharper, more resilient, and more attuned to wisdom. This unwavering commitment to reason is what empowers the Stoic to maintain inner tranquility and virtue amidst the chaos of the world, transforming life's challenges into opportunities for growth and demonstrating our capacity for true freedom and self-mastery. It elevates humanity to its highest potential, as capable of discerning truth and acting ethically. Aurelius also emphasizes the virtue of humility and the rejection of intellectual arrogance. Despite his immense power and philosophical insights, he frequently reminds himself of his own fallibility, the limitations of human knowledge, and the foolishness of those who pride themselves on superficial achievements. He advises learning from everyone, even those who might seem less learned, and remaining open to correction. True wisdom for him involves recognizing how much we do not know and being continually eager to learn and improve. This humility is closely linked to the understanding of our place in the vastness of the universe. When viewed from a cosmic perspective, our individual accomplishments and intellectual prowess seem very small. This intellectual humility also extends to judging others. Aurelius warns against quick judgments and encourages empathy, reminding himself that others, like himself, are simply acting according to their own lights, often mistakenly. He frequently notes that people commit wrongs out of ignorance rather than malice, and that to be angry with them is to be angry with a stumbling child. This perspective fosters patience and understanding, allowing us to respond with reason rather than anger or condemnation. Humility, therefore, is not merely a personal virtue, but also a social one, promoting tolerance, forgiveness, and a more compassionate approach to human interaction. It is a vital antidote to the pride and self-righteousness that can corrupt even the most philosophical mind, ensuring a continuous path of learning and an empathetic engagement with the world. It is a recognition of our shared human condition, both in our strengths and our inevitable weaknesses. The practice of observing phenomena objectively, without adding subjective judgments or emotional interpretations, is a cornerstone of Marcus Aurelius's philosophical method. He urges himself to strip away the story we attach to events and see them merely as they are, in their bare essence. For example, when someone speaks harshly, the Stoic tries to observe the words and tone without immediately adding the judgment, "He is trying to insult me," or "This is unfair." Instead, the practice is to simply note the factual occurrence and then apply reason to decide on an appropriate response, if any. This descriptive, not evaluative, approach is crucial for preventing negative emotions from taking root. Anger, fear, and sorrow often arise from our interpretation of events rather than from the events themselves. Aurelius frequently applies this to his own body and the experiences of physical discomfort or pleasure. He would consider the nature of pleasure, for instance, reducing it to its sensory components rather than allowing himself to be carried away by its allure. Similarly, with pain, he would analyze it. Is it bearable? Is it truly debilitating or merely unpleasant? By dissecting experiences into their constituent parts and observing them with a detached scientific curiosity, he sought to diminish their power over his inner state. This objective observation extends to the behavior of others as well. Instead of reacting with immediate condemnation to a perceived wrong, he would try to understand the act itself, separating it from his personal feelings about it. This practice cultivates a clear mind, free from the distortions of passion, allowing for a more rational and virtuous response to any situation. It is a powerful technique for achieving mental clarity and emotional mastery, enabling us to be observers of our experience rather than prisoners of our reactions. He also repeatedly reflects on the brevity of life and the vastness of time, using this cosmic perspective to diminish the importance of trivial worries. Look down from above, he advises, and see the countless herds of men and their innumerable ceremonies and journeys, and the voyages in storms and calms, and the different ways in which we are born and live and die. This panoramic view helps to put our personal anxieties, our petty squabbles, and our pursuit of fleeting pleasures into proper perspective. In the grand sweep of eternity, most of what concerns us on a daily basis becomes utterly insignificant. This contemplation is not meant to foster apathy, but rather to free us from the chains of superficial concerns, allowing us to focus our limited time and energy on what truly matters, cultivating our character, performing our duties, and contributing to the common good. By imagining the countless generations that have come before and will come after, Aurelius reinforces the idea that our individual lives are but a tiny flicker in the infinite expanse of time. This realization liberates us from the tyranny of external opinion and the relentless pursuit of temporary advantages. What does it matter if someone speaks ill of us today, when in 100 years, both they and we will be forgotten? This perspective encourages us to live with integrity and purpose, guided by our internal compass, rather than being swayed by the ephemeral judgments of others. It underscores the preciousness of each moment and the urgency of living virtuously, understanding that our time here is short and our true legacy lies in the quality of our character, not the duration of our fame. This cosmic viewpoint is a potent tool for humility and for focusing on what is genuinely meaningful. The practice of maintaining a strong internal locus of control is central to Aurelius's entire philosophy. This means understanding and consistently reminding oneself that our peace of mind and well-being depend entirely on our internal responses, our judgments, and our choices, rather than on external circumstances. He constantly distinguishes between things up to us, our thoughts, desires, actions, character, and things not up to us, our body, possessions, reputation, external events. The former are the only things that can truly benefit or harm us, while the latter are indifferent, deriving their power over us only through our interpretation. This distinction is not a theoretical concept, but a daily, hourly practice of filtering every experience through this lens. When faced with a challenge, the Stoic asks, is this within my control? If it is an external event, the answer is no, and the response is acceptance. If it is an internal reaction, the answer is yes, and the response is to apply reason and virtue. This relentless focus on what is within our power is the source of profound psychological freedom. It prevents us from becoming victims of circumstance, constantly tossed about by the whims of fortune. Instead, it empowers us to be the architects of our own inner state, choosing how we will respond, what we will believe, and how we will act. This internal fortress, built through consistent self-discipline and rational judgment, is the ultimate guarantee of tranquility and resilience, making us impervious to external blows. It is the core of Stoic self-sufficiency, ensuring that our happiness is not contingent on the unpredictable outside world, but rests firmly on our own moral choices and rational evaluations. Aurelius also frequently reminds himself of the interconnectedness of all rational beings and the duty of universal benevolence. He sees humanity as a single organism, a city of the world, and each individual as a limb or organ. Just as a hand functions for the good of the body, so too must each human act for the good of the whole. This means recognizing our shared humanity, extending kindness and compassion to others, and understanding that their errors are often born of ignorance rather than malice. Men exist for the sake of one another, he writes, teach them or bear with them. This principle underpins the Stoic emphasis on justice, fairness, and contribution to the common good. To harm another is to harm oneself, for we are all parts of the same rational universe. This perspective cultivates empathy and forgiveness, urging us to look beyond superficial differences and to see the shared spark of reason in every individual. It challenges us to act with a sense of universal brotherhood, recognizing that our own well-being is deeply intertwined with the well-being of all others. For an emperor, this would have been a constant reminder of his immense responsibility to his subjects and the importance of acting with wisdom and fairness. It expands our moral horizon beyond personal gain or tribal loyalties, encouraging a truly cosmopolitan outlook. By consistently cultivating this sense of interconnectedness and universal benevolence, Aurelius guides us towards a life of purpose, meaning, and genuine human connection, understanding that our individual flourishing is inseparable from the flourishing of the entire human community. It is a moral imperative that fosters a sense of unity and shared responsibility. The disciplined practice of distinguishing between essential and non-essential matters is another key teaching from Marcus Aurelius. He often urges himself to strip away the superfluous, to see the core of any situation or object, and focus only on what is truly important. Most of what we say and do is not essential, he remarks. If you eliminate it, you'll have more time and more tranquility. This involves a deliberate mental exercise of simplifying, cutting through the noise and distractions of daily life, and identifying the fundamental truths or actions required. It's about recognizing that many of our worries, desires, and pursuits are ultimately trivial when viewed against the backdrop of virtue and our limited time. This pursuit of essence applies to self-talk as well. Aurelius advocates for plain, direct language, avoiding flowery rhetoric or unnecessary embellishments in his internal dialogues. The purpose is to communicate clearly with oneself, to articulate principles in a way that is easily grasped and acted upon. By focusing on essentials, we become more efficient in our thinking, clearer in our decision-making, and more purposeful in our actions. It allows us to prioritize effectively, dedicating our energy to what truly contributes to our moral development and the common good, rather than being diffused by a multitude of lesser concerns. This clarity of thought is a powerful antidote to mental clutter and indecision, enabling a focused and tranquil mind. It helps one to avoid being entangled in the superficialities of life and to direct energy towards what genuinely holds intrinsic value. Aurelius constantly emphasizes the importance of living in alignment with nature, which for him means living in accordance with reason and virtue. He views the universe as a rational, ordered whole, governed by a benevolent intelligence, the Logos. To live according to nature is to accept this universal order, to play our part willingly, and to use our uniquely human faculty of reason to understand and harmonize with it. This involves recognizing that all events, even those we perceive as negative, are part of this greater design and serve a rational purpose within the cosmic scheme. Resisting nature, or wishing things were other than they are, is irrational and futile, leading only to distress. Living according to nature also entails living according to our own nature as rational social beings. This means cultivating our reason, exercising self-control, acting justly, and contributing to the welfare of our fellow human beings. It implies a moral compass that points towards virtue as the highest good, recognizing that our inner peace and true happiness stem from aligning our actions and judgments with these universal principles. This deep understanding provides a foundation of trust and acceptance, allowing the Stoic to face any circumstance with serenity, knowing that they are always in harmony with the grand, unfolding design of the cosmos. It transforms life from a chaotic struggle into a purposeful dance with the universal forces, bringing profound meaning and an unwavering sense of peace. The concept of cosmic perspective is a recurring and powerful meditative tool for Aurelius. He frequently urges himself to lift his thoughts above the immediate personal sphere and consider things from an elevated vantage point, as if looking down upon the earth and its inhabitants from above. This exercise serves several purposes. It diminishes the perceived importance of trivial matters, helps to overcome emotional attachments, and reminds him of the vastness of time and space in comparison to individual human lives. Observe how ephemeral and worthless human things are, and what was yesterday a little mucus, tomorrow will be a mummy or ashes, he reflects. This sobering awareness helps to dissolve the ego's inflated sense of self-importance and the anxieties that arise from our narrow, self-centered perspectives. By stepping back and viewing life from a cosmic distance, we gain detachment and a clearer sense of proportion. The battles for fame, wealth, or power, the petty grievances and fleeting pleasures, all lose their intensity when seen against the backdrop of eternity. This perspective fosters humility and encourages us to focus on what endures, our character, our virtue, and our contribution to the universal good. It also reinforces the idea of interconnectedness, as we see all humanity as a single stream flowing through time. This mental discipline is crucial for cultivating ataraxia, tranquility, and apatheia, freedom from disturbing passions, enabling the Stoic to remain serene and purposeful regardless of external chaos. It is a constant reminder that our time is brief and therefore precious, to be spent wisely on what truly lasts. Aurelius also stresses the importance of understanding and accepting the transient nature of all external things, including our own body and life. He constantly reminds himself that death is a natural and inevitable part of the cycle of existence, not something to be feared. Remember how short your life is, he writes, and that you are born to die. This acceptance of mortality is not morbid, but liberating. By coming to terms with our finite existence, we are freed from the dread of death and empowered to live more fully in the present moment. It also serves as a potent reminder to prioritize our values and to not squander our precious time on superficialities. This understanding of transience extends to all possessions, relationships, and achievements. Everything is on loan to us and will eventually be taken away. Clinging to these things or deriving our happiness solely from them inevitably leads to suffering when they are lost. The Stoic, therefore, cultivates a degree of detachment from externals, appreciating them while they are present, but always being prepared for their departure. This does not mean becoming cold or uncaring, but rather developing a profound inner resilience that is not dependent on what fortune brings or takes away. By embracing the impermanence of all things, we are able to live with greater gratitude, less anxiety, and a deeper appreciation for the precious of each fleeting moment, fostering a robust internal freedom that transcends the fear of loss and the inevitability of change. It allows us to view life as a series of temporary assignments, where our duty is to perform well with the tools given until they are reclaimed. The consistent message of self-sufficiency and inner tranquility is a core tenet that Marcus Aurelius returns to repeatedly. He argues vehemently that true happiness and peace of mind are not to be found in external circumstances, possessions, or the opinions of others, but solely within our own minds and our virtuous choices. Do not be disturbed by external things, he advises, for they are not the ones that trouble you, but your judgment about them. This radical internalization of value means that we are the sole arbiters of our own well-being. No one can truly harm us or make us unhappy unless we permit them to do so by giving power to their actions or words through our interpretations. This principle empowers us enormously, making us masters of our own inner world rather than victims of circumstance. It shifts the locus of control entirely inward, placing our peace of mind firmly within our own hands. By understanding that our emotional responses are products of our judgments, not the events themselves, we gain the capacity to regulate those responses. We can choose to interpret events rationally, to accept what is beyond our control, and to focus our energy on what is within our power, our character, our actions, our moral choices. This cultivation of an inner fortress makes us impervious to the slings and arrows of fortune, fostering a robust and enduring tranquility that is independent of external conditions. It is the ultimate freedom, the freedom to choose our response, regardless of what life throws our way, and thus ensure our own happiness and serenity. Aurelius also frequently reminds himself of the importance of disciplined action and the performance of duty, even when faced with reluctance or discomfort. He recognized that as emperor, his role was to serve the common good, and that this often required difficult and demanding tasks. He combats procrastination and inertia by reminding himself of his purpose and the fleeting nature of life. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain about if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm? This passage powerfully illustrates his commitment to duty and his understanding that our rational nature compels us to act purposefully in the world. This emphasis on action is not about achieving external success for its own sake, but about acting virtuously, rationally, and for the benefit of the community. It means embracing responsibility, tackling challenges head-on, and fulfilling our roles with diligence and integrity. The Stoic understands that our character is forged not in contemplation alone, but in action, in the consistent application of reason and virtue to the practical demands of life. Procrastination, laziness, and avoidance are seen as failures of reason and weaknesses of character. By consistently engaging in disciplined action, even in small matters, we strengthen our will, build resilience, and live in accordance with our true nature as rational social beings. It is a philosophy that marries profound introspection with practical, ethical engagement with the world. The practice of universal benevolence and seeing all humans as part of a single rational community is a central theme throughout the Meditations. Aurelius deeply internalized the Stoic concept of cosmopolitanism, viewing all rational beings as fellow citizens of the city of the world. He constantly reminds himself that men exist for the sake of one another, and that our actions should reflect this fundamental interconnectedness. This means extending kindness, compassion, and understanding to everyone, even those who might act unjustly or foolishly. He encourages seeing their errors as products of ignorance rather than malice, and to respond with patience and guidance rather than anger or condemnation. This principle calls for a radical empathy and a commitment to the common good. It means that our personal well-being is inextricably linked to the well-being of humanity as a whole. Just as a single cell thrives best when the whole body is healthy, so too does an individual flourish most fully when the community thrives. Therefore, our duty is to contribute positively to the collective, to act justly, to offer support, and to strive for harmony in human relations. This expansive view transcends narrow self-interest or tribal loyalties, fostering a sense of universal brotherhood and shared responsibility. It guides us towards a life of purpose, meaningful contribution, and genuine human connection, understanding that true flourishing is a communal endeavor. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflects on the importance of maintaining an uncluttered mind, free from unnecessary worries, distractions, and emotional turbulence. He sees the mind as our most precious possession, the seat of reason and virtue, and thus deserving of constant care and protection. A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions, he states, implying that our mental focus defines our character. He advocates for a rigorous discipline of thought, challenging intrusive thoughts, dismissing idle chatter, and refusing to entertain anxieties about things beyond our control. This mental hygiene is essential for clear judgment and inner peace. An uncluttered mind allows us to apply reason effectively, to observe phenomena objectively, and to make decisions based on principle rather than fleeting impulse. It means being selective about what we allow to enter our consciousness, guarding our internal space against negative influences. This practice involves regularly wiping the slate clean, letting go of past grievances, and refusing to project anxieties into the future. By cultivating a mind that is calm, focused, and free from superfluous thoughts, the Stoic achieves a profound sense of mental clarity and tranquility. This mental discipline is not about avoiding thinking, but about thinking well, thinking purposefully, and thinking in alignment with reason and virtue. It is the ultimate tool for achieving self-mastery and living a life of profound peace and effectiveness, a sanctuary where true wisdom can flourish. The relentless focus on the present moment, on the now, is a fundamental and constantly reiterated theme in Marcus Aurelius's meditations. He admonishes himself, and by extension us, that dwelling on the past is futile and productive of regret, and worrying about the future is equally useless and the source of anxiety. The past is unchangeable, already absorbed into the vastness of time. The future is uncertain and largely beyond our control. The only domain where we possess true agency, the only point in time where we can exercise our reason and make virtuous choices, is the present moment. Every moment you spend on what is not your work is a moment stolen from life, he insists. This imperative to live fully in the present is not about hedonism, but about purposeful and mindful engagement. By consciously directing our attention to the task at hand, to the immediate reality, we prevent our minds from being scattered by external distractions or internal rumination. This cultivates a deep sense of mindfulness, allowing us to perform our duties with greater focus and effectiveness. It means stripping away all superfluous concerns and concentrating our mental energy on the here and now. For an emperor facing countless demands and pressures, this discipline would have been invaluable for maintaining mental clarity and preventing overwhelm. It is a powerful technique for reducing stress and increasing productivity, allowing us to engage with life as it unfolds, moment by precious moment, recognizing that each breath is an opportunity to practice virtue and embody our rational nature. This focused present-mindedness is a direct path to inner peace and optimal functioning, ensuring that our life is truly lived, rather than merely endured or anticipated. Aurelius consistently champions the idea that true wealth and enduring happiness reside not in material possessions or external achievements, but in the richness of one's character and the cultivation of virtue. He saw the pursuit of wealth, fame, and pleasure as ultimately hollow and distracting, leading to dissatisfaction and dependency on external circumstances. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, he writes, clearly placing the locus of well-being internally. This means that a person with little material wealth but strong virtue is richer in the truest sense than a person of immense material fortune but corrupt character. This principle liberates us from the endless striving and comparison that often characterize modern life. It shifts our focus from acquisition to cultivation, from external validation to internal integrity. By understanding that our inner state is the ultimate determinant of our happiness, we become independent of the caprices of fortune. We can appreciate what we have rather than constantly desiring more, and find contentment in the simplicity of virtuous living. This redefinition of wealth encourages us to invest our energy in building our character, honing our reason, and acting justly and kindly, knowing that these are the only true and lasting treasures we can accumulate. It is a powerful antidote to consumerism and societal pressures, guiding us towards a more authentic, fulfilling, and resilient life, where our worth is defined by our being, not our having. The practice of maintaining equanimity in the face of both praise and criticism is another vital lesson from Marcus Aurelius. He recognizes that both can be dangerous. Praise can lead to arrogance and dependency on external validation, while criticism can provoke anger, resentment, and self-doubt. The Stoic goal is to remain indifferent to both, understanding that neither truly affects our inner worth or character. Our actions should be guided by our internal compass of reason and virtue, not by the shifting winds of public opinion. A person's worth is measured by his choices and deeds, he implies, irrespective of what others say about them. This detachment from external judgments allows for true freedom and authenticity. If we constantly seek applause, we become enslaved to the opinions of others. If we fear criticism, we may shy away from doing what is right. By cultivating indifference to both, we are empowered to act with integrity, to speak our truth, and to pursue our virtuous path without being swayed by the external noise. Aurelius reminds himself that the same people who praise us today may condemn us tomorrow, and that their judgments are often superficial and ill-informed. What truly matters is our own conscience and whether we are living in accordance with our rational nature. This practice fosters a robust self-reliance and an unwavering commitment to our moral principles, making us resilient to both the allure of fleeting glory and the sting of undeserved blame. It ensures our peace of mind is never held hostage by the fickle opinions of others. Aurelius consistently emphasizes the importance of developing emotional resilience, not by suppressing emotions, but by understanding their origin and refusing to be enslaved by them. He views destructive emotions like anger, fear, grief, and excessive desire as arising from faulty judgments about external events. They are not inherent to the events themselves, but are products of our interpretations. The Stoic aim is not to become emotionless, but to achieve apatheia, a state of freedom from disturbing passions where reason remains sovereign. This is accomplished through rigorous self-awareness, challenging our automatic reactions and applying rational scrutiny to our judgments. This practice allows us to observe our emotions with a degree of detachment, to understand their temporary nature, and to prevent them from dictating our actions. When anger arises, for example, Aurelius would remind himself of the impermanence of the situation, the common humanity of the person who provoked it, and the irrationality of allowing an external event to disturb his inner peace. This emotional resilience is built through constant practice, a daily training of the mind to respond with reason rather than impulse. It is the key to maintaining inner tranquility amidst the chaos of life, enabling us to face adversity with courage and equanimity. By mastering our emotional responses, we reclaim our inner freedom and ensure that our happiness and well-being are always within our own control, making us truly invincible against the vagaries of fortune. It is a robust internal defense system against all forms of psychological disturbance. The acceptance of death as a natural and inevitable part of life is a deeply ingrained and frequently revisited theme in Marcus Aurelius's philosophical framework. He repeatedly reminds himself of his own mortality and the mortality of everyone around him. "Soon you will be ashes or a skeleton, and a name or not even a name," he writes. This contemplation of death is not intended to be morbid or to induce despair, but rather to be a powerful tool for living more fully, more virtuously, and with a greater sense of urgency in the present moment. By acknowledging the finite nature of our existence, we are encouraged to strip away trivial concerns, to focus on what truly matters, and to avoid wasting our precious time on anger, resentment, or meaningless pursuits. This constant awareness of death liberates us from the fear of it. If we accept death as a natural process, an inherent part of the universal order, then it loses its power to terrify us. It becomes simply another external event beyond our control to be met with equanimity. This acceptance also serves as a potent reminder that our time is limited, making each moment precious and urging us to live authentically with integrity and purpose. It redirects our focus from the accumulation of external goods, which we cannot take with us, to the cultivation of internal virtue, which is the only true legacy we leave behind. By meditating on death, Aurelius teaches us to live, not to fear the end, but to appreciate the journey, transforming a universal dread into a catalyst for profound ethical living and a deep appreciation for the gift of existence. It is the ultimate humility, the ultimate equalizer, and a call to make the most of the brief flicker of life we are granted. Aurelius strongly advocates for intellectual honesty and the continuous pursuit of truth, even if it challenges one's existing beliefs or comfortable assumptions. He consistently questions his own judgments and encourages a skeptical yet open-minded approach to information. "If anyone can refute me and show me that I am making a mistake or thinking incorrectly, I will gladly change," he declares. This commitment to truth overrides personal pride or the desire to be right. It recognizes that our understanding is always incomplete and that genuine wisdom involves a perpetual process of learning, unlearning, and reevaluating. This intellectual humility is essential for rational thought. It means being willing to admit when we are wrong, to seek out different perspectives, and to base our beliefs on evidence and sound reasoning rather than on dogma or popular opinion. For an emperor, this would have been particularly crucial in making just decisions and seeking wise counsel. By fostering a mind that is open to correction and relentlessly pursues truth, the Stoic avoids intellectual stagnation and the pitfalls of unchecked arrogance. This commitment ensures a continuous path of intellectual and moral growth, leading to a deeper understanding of the world and a more accurate internal compass. It is a vital defense against self-deception and the biases that can corrupt even the most well-intentioned mind, promoting a lifelong journey of learning and refinement. The importance of internalizing Stoic principles and making them a lived practice, not just theoretical knowledge, is a pervasive message in the Meditations. Aurelius's own writings are not meant for publication, but are a personal journal, a record of his daily struggle to apply philosophical concepts to his practical life. He sees philosophy as a spiritual exercise, a regimen for the soul, rather than an academic subject. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, he exhorts himself. This emphasis on action over mere contemplation is crucial. It means consistently applying the dichotomy of control, practicing negative visualization, cultivating present moment awareness, and choosing virtuous responses in every situation. This practical application is what transforms abstract ideas into concrete character traits. It is through repeated effort and consistent self-correction that we build our inner fortress and develop true resilience. The Stoic understands that intellectual assent to a principle is not enough. It must be embodied in our thoughts, words, and deeds. This daily practice involves constant vigilance, a willingness to scrutinize our own thoughts and reactions, and a persistent effort to align our will with reason and nature. It is a lifelong journey of self-improvement, where each challenge becomes an opportunity to exercise and strengthen our philosophical muscles. By emphasizing the active, lived experience of philosophy, Aurelius ensures that his teachings remain relevant and impactful, providing a tangible pathway to wisdom and tranquility in the everyday world. Aurelius frequently addresses the illusion of external evil, maintaining that the only true evil is within, in our own judgments and actions. He consistently reiterates that external events, even those that seem catastrophic, are morally indifferent. They cannot, by themselves, harm our inner character or diminish our virtue. The harm, if any, comes from our reaction to these events, from our judgment that they are bad or unbearable. This radical understanding liberates us from the fear of misfortune and empowers us to remain tranquil amidst adversity. If we understand that sickness, poverty, loss, or even death cannot corrupt our soul unless we allow them to, then we become truly invincible. This principle shifts the entire focus of ethical living from external outcomes to internal states. Instead of trying to control the uncontrollable external world, we focus entirely on controlling our own responses. This means refusing to allow anger, fear, or despair to take root, and instead choosing acceptance, patience, and courage. By internalizing this truth, we gain an unparalleled sense of freedom and self-mastery. Our happiness and peace of mind become entirely dependent on our own moral choices and rational evaluations, rather than on the unpredictable whims of fortune. It is the ultimate safeguard against suffering, providing an unwavering foundation for a life of purpose, resilience, and profound inner peace, regardless of what the external world may present. It is the core of Stoic invincibility, turning potential tragedy into a stage for displaying virtue. The discipline of desire and aversion is a fundamental Stoic practice that Marcus Aurelius diligently applies and advocates for. This discipline teaches us to desire only what is truly good and within our control, virtue itself, and to avoid only what is truly bad and within our control, vice or irrational action. All external things such as health, wealth, pleasure, or pain are considered indifferents. While some are preferred like health over sickness, they are never to be desired so intensely that their absence causes distress, nor should their presence be so craved that their pursuit compromises our virtue. Similarly, we should not have an absolute aversion to external things like poverty or physical discomfort, because these are not inherently evil and are often beyond our direct control. By moderating our desires and aversions in this way, we eliminate a vast source of human suffering. Much of our anxiety, frustration, and disappointment stems from wanting things that are not guaranteed or being desperate to avoid things that are inevitable. Aurelius constantly reminds himself to desire virtue above all else and to accept everything else as it comes. This disciplined approach frees us from being puppets of our passions, making us less vulnerable to the unpredictable nature of external events. It cultivates an inner robustness where our happiness is not contingent on getting what we want, but on wanting what is virtuous and accepting what is. This is a path to profound contentment, where our inner state remains serene because our desires are aligned with what is truly attainable and truly good within our own sphere of influence. It creates a robust internal framework, a shield against the endless cravings that plague human existence, leading to a state of profound inner peace and self-sufficiency. Aurelius also frequently emphasizes the ephemeral nature of all human affairs and the insignificance of our individual existence when viewed from a cosmic perspective. He often calls upon himself to imagine the vastness of time and the endless succession of generations, observing how quickly even the greatest achievements and most powerful figures are forgotten. Consider how many men have ended their days in bitterness and lamentation over their passing from life, only to fade into utter oblivion themselves, he writes. This contemplation is a powerful antidote to pride, ego, and the pursuit of fleeting glory. It reminds us that our personal struggles, triumphs, and perceived injustices are microscopic against the backdrop of eternity. This perspective helps to diminish the emotional charge of many daily concerns. Why get angry over a minor slight when both the slighter and the slighted will soon be dust? Why strive for reputation when fame itself is transient and evaporates with time? The goal is not to become nihilistic, but to understand what truly endures and what is truly important. Our character, our virtue, and our contribution to the common good are the only things that possess lasting value. This cosmic view liberates us from the tyranny of external opinion and societal pressures, allowing us to focus our limited time and energy on building our inner world and acting with integrity, irrespective of external recognition. It fosters a deep sense of humility and helps us prioritize our efforts towards what truly matters in the grand scheme of things, ensuring our efforts are directed towards the only permanent good. The importance of continuous self-improvement and the lifelong journey of philosophical practice is a consistent thread in Marcus Aurelius's meditations. He sees philosophy not as a destination, but as an ongoing process of learning, reflection, and self-correction. His own writings are a testament to this, being a personal journal of his daily struggle to apply Stoic principles and to become a better person. He acknowledges his own imperfections and the constant need for vigilance against common human failings like anger, vanity, and procrastination. Keep to your own true self, he urges, and keep working at it. This emphasizes the active, disciplined effort required to live a virtuous life. This commitment to continuous improvement means being open to criticism, learning from mistakes, and perpetually striving to align one's thoughts and actions with reason and virtue. It is about understanding that wisdom is not a static state, but a dynamic process, a constant training of the mind and character. Every challenge, every interaction, every moment of self-reflection becomes an opportunity for growth. This perspective prevents stagnation and complacency, fostering a resilient and adaptable mind that is always seeking to refine itself. It reminds us that we are all on a journey and that the path of virtue is one that requires persistent effort and unwavering dedication. This dedication to self-mastery is the very essence of living a philosophical life, ensuring that we never stop striving to become the best versions of ourselves, constantly evolving towards a more rational and virtuous existence. Finally, Aurelius emphasizes the cultivation of inner peace through the acceptance of universal causality and the benevolence of nature. He firmly believed that the universe is governed by a rational and benevolent principle, the logos, or nature, and that everything that happens for a reason, as part of a larger, interconnected whole. This includes seemingly negative events. To resist what happens is to resist the very nature of the universe, an irrational and ultimately futile act that only generates suffering. Instead, the Stoic aims to cultivate amor fati, a love of fate, actively embracing everything that occurs as precisely what is meant to be, and finding within it an opportunity to practice virtue. This acceptance is not passive resignation, but an active alignment of one's will with the universal will. It provides a profound sense of security and trust in the cosmic order. When we understand that even misfortunes serve a purpose within the grand design, we are freed from anxiety and fear. We recognize that we are part of something much larger, and that our role is to play our part well, with reason and virtue, whatever that part may entail. This trust in the benevolence and rationality of the universe is the ultimate source of inner peace, allowing us to face any challenge with serenity and purpose. It is the realization that true harmony comes from aligning ourselves with the flow of existence, rather than futilely attempting to swim against it, bringing a deep, unshakable calm. The rigorous practice of self-examination and critical reflection is fundamental to Marcus Aurelius's Stoic approach. His meditations are, in essence, a testament to this daily discipline. He consistently turns his gaze inward, scrutinizing his own thoughts, judgments, desires, and aversions, seeking to identify and correct any deviations from reason and virtue. This involves a constant questioning of his motives, an honest assessment of his reactions to events, and a relentless effort to align his inner world with Stoic principles. "Do not be ashamed to need help," he writes, implicitly extending this need for scrutiny to external sources as well as internal. This process of self-examination is not about self-condemnation, but about self-improvement. It's a method for identifying our cognitive biases, emotional triggers, and irrational impulses before they can lead to unvirtuous actions or disturb our inner peace. By regularly reflecting on his day, his interactions, and his internal responses, Aurelius strengthened his capacity for self-awareness and self-control. It's a continuous feedback loop. Observe, judge, correct, repeat. This discipline ensures that philosophy remains a living practice, a constant engagement with oneself, rather than a mere intellectual exercise. It empowers the Stoic to proactively address internal weaknesses and reinforce virtuous habits, building a robust and resilient character capable of navigating life's challenges with unwavering integrity. It's the ultimate form of personal accountability and ongoing audit of one's own mind to ensure it operates optimally and ethically. Aurelius strongly emphasizes the virtue of integrity and consistency between one's beliefs and actions. He urges himself to live authentically, to speak truthfully, and to ensure that his inner philosophical principles are consistently reflected in his outward behavior. Hypocrisy, pretense, and the desire to impress others are seen as contrary to reason and destructive to one's character. Let your desires be few, he advises, and let your actions be in accord with your principles. This commitment to integrity means acting virtuously even when unobserved, doing the right thing for its own sake, rather than for recognition or reward. This principle is about living in complete alignment, where one's rational understanding of the world dictates one's conduct without compromise. It means being a person of character, whose word is reliable and whose actions are predictable based on their unwavering commitment to virtue. For an emperor, this would have been particularly crucial for earning the trust and respect of his subjects and for making just decisions. By cultivating integrity, the Stoic builds a robust inner harmony, where there is no conflict between what they believe and how they live. This consistency brings a profound sense of inner peace and self-respect. Knowing that one is living authentically and true to one's highest self, making one impervious to the corrupting influences of external pressures or internal temptations. It is the hallmark of a truly developed Stoic character, one whose inner and outer worlds are harmoniously aligned. The concept of universal law and the inherent rationality of the cosmos forms a deep background to all of Aurelius's reflections. He views the universe as a perfectly ordered system, governed by an intelligent and benevolent principle, the logos, or universal reason. This universal law dictates the unfolding of all events, ensuring that everything that happens is necessary and contributes to the greater good of the whole. For humans, to live in accordance with this universal law means to live in accordance with our own rational nature, understanding that our reason is a spark of this divine logos. "All that is in accord with you, O cosmos, is in accord with me," he proclaims, expressing his profound acceptance and alignment with this cosmic order. This understanding provides a profound sense of security and meaning. If the universe is rational and benevolent, then even perceived misfortunes are part of a larger, purposeful design. This perspective frees us from anxiety and the futile desire to control the uncontrollable. Instead, we are called to trust in the process, to embrace amor fati, and to play our part virtuously within this grand scheme. It encourages us to see ourselves as integral components of a vast and beautiful machine, each with a unique function, contributing to the harmonious operation of the whole. This alignment with universal law brings not only intellectual understanding, but a deep spiritual peace, knowing that we are always in harmony with the ultimate reality. It transforms life's challenges into opportunities to exercise our virtue within a divinely ordered framework, cultivating a deep sense of belonging and purpose. Finally, Aurelius emphasizes the ultimate insignificance of external opinion and the wisdom of relying solely on one's own reasoned judgment. He constantly reminds himself that the praise or blame of others, their opinions, and their fleeting judgments are external things, utterly beyond his control and incapable of truly harming his character. Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect, he advises. This underscores the idea that our true worth and peace of mind come from within, from our own virtuous choices and rational assessment of ourselves, not from the fickle approval of the crowd. This detachment from external validation is a cornerstone of Stoic freedom. If we depend on others' opinions for our happiness, we become enslaved to them. If we fear their criticism, we compromise our integrity. By cultivating indifference to what others think, we empower ourselves to live authentically, to act according to our principles, and to pursue our virtuous path without being swayed by popular sentiment. Aurelius understood that popular opinion is often ill-informed, prejudiced, and inconsistent. The only true judge is our own conscience, guided by reason and virtue. This practice fosters a robust self-reliance and an unwavering commitment to one's inner moral compass, making us resilient to both the allure of fleeting glory and the sting of undeserved blame. It ensures that our peace of mind is never held hostage by the unpredictable and often irrational judgments of others, solidifying our inner freedom and sovereignty. The principle of living authentically and with full sincerity without pretense or seeking external validation is a deeply personal and recurrent aspiration in Marcus Aurelius's meditations. He constantly urges himself to strip away all artificiality, to be true to his inner self, and to act solely from a place of reason and virtue, rather than being swayed by popular opinion or the desire for applause. Let your desires be few, and your actions be in accord with your principles, he advises, emphasizing a congruence between belief and behavior. This commitment to inner truthfulness is seen as essential for developing true character and achieving genuine peace of mind. To live authentically means to act with integrity even when unobserved, to speak truthfully without embellishment, and to make choices based on one's own reasoned judgment rather than on what others might think or expect. It liberates one from the exhausting burden of maintaining a facade or constantly seeking external approval. Aurelius recognizes that striving for fame or popularity ultimately makes one a slave to the fickle opinions of others. By focusing on his own internal compass of virtue, he sought to cultivate a profound sense of self-respect and inner harmony, where his actions were a direct reflection of his deepest philosophical convictions. This practice fosters a robust self-reliance and an unwavering commitment to one's moral principles, ensuring that one's peace of mind is rooted in their own character, not in the shifting sands of external perception. It's about being, not seeming to be. A truly virtuous person, cultivating a serene and integrated self. Aurelius often reflects on the importance of understanding and fulfilling one's unique role or function within the larger cosmic and human community. Just as each part of a body has a specific function for the benefit of the whole, so too does each human being have a role to play in the grand scheme of the universe. For him, as emperor, this function was to govern justly, to protect his people, and to embody virtue in leadership. For every individual, this means identifying what their rational and social nature calls them to do, and pursuing it with diligence and purpose. What is not good for the beehive is not good for the bee, he famously states, illustrating that individual flourishing is inextricably linked to contributing to the common good. This understanding of purpose provides a powerful sense of meaning and direction. It prevents one from drifting aimlessly or succumbing to idleness, instead channeling energy into productive and virtuous actions. Fulfilling one's function involves exercising our distinct human capacity for reason, acting with justice, benevolence, and courage, and contributing positively to the well-being of the human community. It's about recognizing that our individual lives are not isolated, but are integral to a greater whole. By embracing and diligently performing our designated role, we align ourselves with the universal reason and derive a profound sense of satisfaction and purpose. This commitment to functional purpose helps overcome procrastination and apathy, ensuring that each day is spent in meaningful, virtuous activity, knowing that our efforts contribute to something far greater than ourselves. The practice of actively cultivating gratitude, even amidst adversity, is another poignant aspect of Aurelius's Stoicism. While he teaches acceptance of all things, he also demonstrates a consistent effort to appreciate the good that is present, especially when contemplating potential loss through negative visualization. By reminding himself of the fleeting nature of life and possessions, he prompts himself to cherish what he currently has: his health, his friends, his family, the beauty of nature, and the capacity for rational thought itself. This is not a superficial toxic positivity, but a deep philosophical appreciation for the gifts of existence, understood within the context of impermanence. Gratitude serves as a powerful antidote to complaint, envy, and dissatisfaction. If we constantly dwell on what we lack or what is going wrong, we lose sight of the myriad blessings we possess. By consciously practicing gratitude, we shift our focus from scarcity to abundance, from what is beyond our control to what we can appreciate in the present moment. It reinforces the Stoic principle that true happiness comes from within, from our judgments and our willingness to appreciate the unfolding of life as it is. This cultivated appreciation fosters a more positive and resilient mindset, allowing us to find joy and contentment in simple things and to face challenges with a spirit of thankful acceptance. It is a vital emotional practice that grounds us in the present and connects us to the benevolent aspects of the universe, ensuring that even in difficult times, we can find reasons to be grateful for the gift of life and the opportunity to exercise virtue. Finally, Aurelius emphasizes the importance of understanding and embracing the cyclical nature of existence and the relentless flow of time. He frequently reflects on the continuous birth and death, growth and decay that characterizes all things in the universe. Empires rise and fall, generations succeed one another, and even the stars are constantly in motion. All things are interwoven, and the sacred bond is one, he notes, suggesting a grand, cyclical dance orchestrated by universal reason. This perspective helps to mitigate the fear of change and the sadness of loss, as these are seen as inherent and necessary parts of the cosmic process. By understanding that everything passes and everything returns in some form, we gain a profound sense of detachment and serenity. We are freed from the illusion of permanence and the anxiety of trying to hold on to what cannot be held. This cyclical view encourages us to appreciate the present moment as a unique and fleeting manifestation of the eternal flow. It also reinforces the idea of our interconnectedness with all things, seeing ourselves as part of this grand, unending cycle. This embrace of cosmic cycles fosters a deep philosophical patience and a tranquil acceptance of whatever life brings, knowing that it is all part of a larger, perfectly ordered design. It transforms our relationship with time from one of resistance to one of harmony, allowing us to flow with the universe rather than struggling against it, leading to an enduring peace that transcends the individual lifespan. The concept of ad versus ventos, standing firm against the winds of fortune, is implicitly woven throughout Marcus Aurelius's teachings, emphasizing unwavering resolve and mental fortitude. While not a direct Stoic term, it encapsulates the resilience he champions. He repeatedly reminds himself that external events, even the most challenging, are beyond our control and therefore cannot truly harm our inner citadel. Our only power lies in our reaction and judgment. This requires cultivating a robust internal strength, an unshakable resolve to maintain our virtue and reason regardless of what fate delivers. He views obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities to practice virtues like patience, courage, and perseverance. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, he famously states, transforming adversity into a necessary path for growth. This fortitude is not about being emotionless, but about preventing emotions from dictating our actions or corrupting our reason. It means facing hardship head-on, acknowledging its reality, but refusing to allow it to shatter our inner peace or deter us from our virtuous path. It is a daily practice of mental conditioning, preparing for potential misfortunes, negative visualization, and reminding ourselves that our well-being resides solely in our internal choices. This unyielding spirit allows the Stoic to navigate life's storms with a steady hand, knowing that their true self, their character, remains untouched by external chaos. It is the ultimate expression of internal freedom, a testament to the power of the human mind to withstand anything and emerge with integrity intact, a beacon of resilience in a turbulent world. Aurelius consistently advocates for active engagement with the world and the performance of one's duties, rejecting passive contemplation or withdrawal. While his philosophy encourages profound introspection, it is always in service of more effective and virtuous action in the community. He understands that humans are social creatures, designed by nature to cooperate and contribute to the common good. Do not behave as if you are going to live for 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good, he writes. This sense of urgency drives him to act diligently, to fulfill his role as emperor with integrity, and to serve humanity tirelessly. This active engagement means stepping forward, embracing responsibility, and applying reason to the practical demands of daily life. It is not enough to simply understand Stoic principles. They must be embodied through our deeds. Procrastination, laziness, and a retreat into purely personal comforts are seen as contrary to our rational and social nature. Every interaction, every task, every decision is an opportunity to practice virtue, justice, courage, wisdom, and temperance. For Aurelius, the philosopher is not an ivory tower academic, but an active participant in the city of the world, contributing his unique talents for the benefit of all. This commitment to purposeful action ensures that Stoicism is not a philosophy of resignation, but one of vigorous ethical engagement, transforming intention into tangible positive impact on the world, a relentless pursuit of practical virtue. The rigorous application of logic and rational inquiry to every situation is a hallmark of Marcus Aurelius's approach. He constantly trains himself to analyze circumstances, thoughts, and emotions dispassionately, stripping away subjective interpretations and emotional overlays to get to the core facts. He urges himself to ask, what is this in itself, in its own nature? By reducing things to their essential components, he seeks to understand their true nature and their actual power over him. This systematic deconstruction prevents irrational fear, anger, or desire from taking root, as these often stem from faulty judgments and distorted perceptions. This logical approach extends to understanding the behavior of others. Rather than immediately condemning someone who acts unjustly, Aurelius tries to understand the underlying causes of their actions, often attributing them to ignorance rather than malice. This allows him to respond with reason and patience rather than with anger or resentment. It is a continuous effort to see the world as it truly is, free from the biases and illusions that cloud human judgment. By consistently applying logic, the Stoic develops a clear and sharp mind, capable of discerning truth, making sound decisions, and maintaining inner tranquility amidst the complexities of life. This intellectual rigor is a powerful tool for achieving self-mastery and for navigating the world with wisdom and clarity, ensuring that one's judgments are always grounded in reality. Finally, Aurelius emphasizes the ultimate freedom that comes from internalizing the dichotomy of control and realizing that true well-being is solely dependent on one's own choices. This internal freedom is the culmination of all Stoic practice. It means that our happiness, our peace of mind, and our sense of purpose are never contingent on external circumstances, not on wealth, health, reputation, or the actions of others. We are not victims of fate or circumstance, but sovereign rulers of our own inner kingdom. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength, he asserts. This radical freedom empowers us to face any challenge with equanimity, knowing that our essential well-being remains intact as long as our character and judgments remain virtuous. It means choosing our response, choosing our beliefs, and choosing our actions, irrespective of the external pressures or inducements. This inner liberation is the antidote to fear, anxiety, and despair. It is the realization that the only thing that can truly harm us is our own irrationality or moral failing. By cultivating this profound internal freedom, The Stoic achieves a state of unshakable tranquility, resilience, and self-sufficiency, becoming truly invincible against the vicissitudes of life. It is the ultimate goal of the entire philosophical journey, a state where one is truly master of oneself and impervious to the whims of fortune, a beacon of human potential for autonomy and virtue. The constant call to accept what cannot be changed and to actively embrace the flow of universal events known as amor fati is a deeply therapeutic and central tenet in Marcus Aurelius's philosophy. This is far from passive resignation. Rather, it's an active, even joyful affirmation of everything that occurs. He consistently reminds himself that the universe is governed by a rational and benevolent principle, the logos, and therefore every event, whether seemingly good or bad, is a necessary and perfect part of a larger, interconnected design. Do not be dissatisfied with anything but yourself, he writes, pushing the responsibility for distress inwards. To resist what happens is to resist the very nature of the cosmos, an irrational and ultimately futile act that only generates suffering and inner turmoil. Instead, the Stoic sage cultivates a profound appreciation for the unfolding of life, understanding that whatever happens to you has been ready for you since all time. The weaving of fate has spun the one together with the other. This perspective means not just enduring challenging events, but actively welcoming them, seeing them as precisely what is meant to be, and finding within each an opportunity to practice virtue, be it patience, courage, or resilience. This radical acceptance frees us from the tyranny of what if and if only, allowing us to fully engage with present reality and to derive meaning even from suffering. It is a powerful antidote to anxiety, regret, and the futile longing for a different past or future, fostering a robust internal freedom that comes from aligning our individual will with the universal will, secure in the knowledge that everything ultimately serves the grand, rational purpose of existence. Aurelius also frequently emphasizes the importance of developing profound self-awareness, an acute understanding of one's own thoughts, impulses, and character. His meditations are precisely this, a meticulous record of his introspective journey, a daily practice of examining his inner landscape. He trains himself to observe his reactions to external stimuli, to identify the judgments that give rise to emotions, and to scrutinize his own motives before acting. Look within, he advises. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig. This constant introspection is crucial for self-mastery, for it is only by understanding our inner workings that we can truly control them. This self-awareness is not about navel-gazing for its own sake, but about cultivating the clarity needed to apply Stoic principles effectively. By understanding our own biases, weaknesses, and triggers, we can proactively guard against irrational thoughts and destructive emotions. It's a continuous process of self-correction, ensuring that our inner fortress remains strong and uncorrupted. This discipline allows us to discern what is truly up to us and what is not, preventing us from expending energy on external matters beyond our control and instead channeling it into improving our character. It is the foundation for all other Stoic virtues, enabling us to act with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, because we first possess a deep, honest understanding of ourselves. This inner knowing is the wellspring of genuine moral progress and an indispensable tool for maintaining tranquility. The ethical imperative of acting with justice and contributing to the common good is a fundamental pillar of Marcus Aurelius's social philosophy, stemming directly from the Stoic understanding of interconnectedness. He views humanity as a single rational community, a city of the world, and each individual as an integral part of this greater whole. We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth, he famously states. This analogy underscores the idea that our individual flourishing is inextricably linked to the well-being of the collective. To act unjustly or selfishly is to act against our own rational and social nature, causing harm not only to others, but also to ourselves. Therefore, our duty is to serve the common good, to treat others with respect, kindness, and fairness, and to contribute positively to the human community. This cosmopolitan view extends beyond geographical or social boundaries, embracing all rational beings as fellow citizens deserving of our benevolence. Aurelius consistently reminds himself to view the errors of others with understanding, often seeing them as products of ignorance rather than malice, thereby fostering patience and forgiveness. This deep commitment to justice and universal benevolence transforms Stoicism from a purely personal pursuit into a powerful guide for ethical engagement with the world, urging us to be active agents of good in our communities and to recognize our profound interdependence. It is a moral call to arms, inspiring us to build a better world through our virtuous actions. Finally, Aurelius emphasizes the practical nature of philosophy, that it is a way of life, a daily discipline, not merely a collection of abstract theories. His own meditations are a testament to this, being a personal training manual rather than a published treatise. He continually pushes himself to move beyond intellectual understanding to actual lived application of Stoic principles. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, he challenges himself. This imperative means consistently applying the dichotomy of control, practicing negative visualization, cultivating present moment awareness, and choosing virtuous responses in every situation, every single day. This commitment to practical philosophy ensures that Stoicism is not a dry academic pursuit, but a dynamic, transformative force in one's life. It means that every challenge, every interaction, every moment of self-reflection becomes an opportunity to exercise and strengthen our philosophical muscles. It is through repeated effort and consistent self-correction that we build our inner fortress and develop true resilience. The Stoic understands that intellectual assent to a principle is not enough. It must be embodied in our thoughts, words, and deeds. This daily practice involves constant vigilance, a willingness to scrutinize our own thoughts and reactions, and a persistent effort to align our will with reason and nature. This emphasis on lived experience ensures that the teachings of Marcus Aurelius remain profoundly relevant, offering a tangible and actionable pathway to wisdom, tranquility, and a life of authentic purpose in the real world. It transforms theoretical knowledge into practical, transformative character. The unwavering focus on cultivating an inner citadel, an impregnable fortress of the mind, is perhaps the most enduring and empowering image in Marcus Aurelius's philosophy. He repeatedly emphasizes that external circumstances, illness, poverty, loss, criticism, even death itself, cannot truly harm us unless we allow them to by our judgments and reactions. If you are pained by any external thing, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your own judgment about it, he argues. This fundamental distinction between what is external and what is internal forms the basis for constructing this psychological stronghold. Building this inner citadel involves rigorous mental discipline, constantly scrutinizing our thoughts, correcting irrational judgments, distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not, and refusing to allow our emotions to dictate our actions. It means cultivating virtues like reason, courage, justice, and temperance, making them the unwavering pillars of our character. This inner strength ensures that our peace of mind and well-being are entirely self-generated, independent of the capricious whims of fortune. It liberates us from being victims of circumstance and empowers us to be masters of our own inner world. By consistently practicing this internalization, the Stoic becomes truly invincible, capable of facing any adversity with equanimity, knowing that their essential self, their moral character, remains intact and unharmed. This inner refuge is the ultimate source of freedom and tranquility, a sanctuary where true wisdom can flourish undisturbed. Aurelius consistently promotes the idea of detachment from material possessions and external desires. He teaches that true happiness and contentment do not lie in the accumulation of wealth, status, or fleeting pleasures, but rather in the cultivation of an inner life rich in virtue and reason. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking, he states. This does not mean abandoning all possessions or retreating from the world, but rather understanding that their value is ultimately indifferent and that clinging to them inevitably leads to anxiety and disappointment when they are lost or fail to deliver lasting satisfaction. By cultivating a degree of detachment, we free ourselves from the endless striving and comparison that often characterize modern existence. We learn to appreciate what we have rather than constantly desiring more, and find contentment in the simplicity of a virtuous life. This detachment is an active process of reminding ourselves that everything external is on loan to us, subject to change and eventual loss. It allows us to use material things for their practical utility without becoming emotionally enslaved to them. This practice fosters a profound sense of inner freedom, making our happiness independent of external acquisitions and resilient to the inevitable losses of life. It redirects our energy from the fleeting and superficial to the enduring and substantial, towards building a character that is rich in virtue and a mind that is at peace, irrespective of one's material circumstances. The embrace of brevity and insignificance from a cosmic perspective is a frequently employed meditative tool for Marcus Aurelius. He often urges himself to step back and contemplate the vastness of time and space, imagining his own life and indeed all human lives as fleeting moments in an eternal cosmic drama. Look down from above, he advises, and see the countless herds of men and the different ways in which we are born and live and die. This panoramic view serves to diminish the perceived importance of trivial worries, petty grievances, and the pursuit of fleeting worldly achievements. This contemplation is not meant to induce nihilism, but to foster humility, to deflate the ego, and to help prioritize what truly matters. In the grand sweep of eternity, most of what concerns us on a daily basis, our reputation, our wealth, our social standing, becomes utterly insignificant. This perspective liberates us from the tyranny of external opinion and the relentless pursuit of temporary advantages. It encourages us to live with integrity and purpose, guided by our internal compass, rather than being swayed by the ephemeral judgments of others. By understanding the shortness of life and the cosmic scale of things, Aurelius prompts us to focus our limited time and energy on cultivating our character, performing our duties, and contributing to the common good, knowing that these are the only true legacies that endure beyond our brief flicker in time. It's a powerful tool for maintaining perspective and ensuring our efforts are directed towards the only truly permanent good. Aurelius consistently returns to the necessity of reason as the supreme guide for human conduct and the pathway to living in accordance with nature. He believes that our unique capacity for rational thought is a divine spark, a fragment of the universal logos, and that our highest purpose is to cultivate and employ this reason in every aspect of our lives. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, he asserts, emphasizing the transformative power of rational thinking. When we act irrationally, when we allow our passions, impulses, or external opinions to dictate our behavior, we are acting contrary to our true nature and squandering our most precious gift. The cultivation of reason involves continuous self-scrutiny, logical analysis, and a commitment to truth. It means questioning our assumptions, examining our judgments, and always seeking to understand the underlying causes of events and behaviors. Reason allows us to see things clearly, stripped of the emotional overlays that often distort our perception. It is the tool by which we apply the dichotomy of control, identify what is truly good or bad, and embrace fate. For Aurelius, the philosopher is essentially a rational trainer, constantly exercising and strengthening their faculty of reason, making it sharper, more resilient, and more attuned to wisdom. This unwavering commitment to reason is what empowers the Stoic to maintain inner tranquility and virtue amidst the chaos of the world, transforming life's challenges into opportunities for growth and demonstrating our capacity for true freedom and self-mastery, ultimately leading to a harmonious alignment with universal intelligence. The emphasis on distinguishing between what is truly good or bad and what is indifferent is a central Stoic principle that Marcus Aurelius meticulously applies throughout his meditations. He argues that the only true good is virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance, and the only true evil is vice, its opposite. Everything else, health, wealth, reputation, pleasure, pain, sickness, poverty, death, are morally neutral or indifferent. While some indifference may be preferred, like health over sickness, they are never to be considered as essential for our happiness or as capable of corrupting our character. Neither good nor bad can happen to you, he writes. It is only good or bad to you if you call it so. This distinction is profoundly liberating. It means that our well-being and moral integrity are entirely within our own control, dependent solely on our inner choices and judgments, not on external circumstances. If we mistakenly believe that external things are good or bad, we become slaves to fortune, constantly seeking to acquire preferred indifference or avoid dispreferred ones, leading to endless anxiety, desire, and disappointment. By internalizing that only virtue is good and vice is evil, we free ourselves from this ceaseless striving. We can appreciate preferred indifference when they are present, endure dispreferred ones when they occur, and always focus our energy on cultivating our character, which is the only true and lasting good. This clarity of definition provides an unshakable foundation for inner peace and resilience, making us impervious to the vicissitudes of life and ensuring that our happiness is always self-generated. Aurelius consistently advocates for the practice of empathy and understanding towards others, even those who act unjustly or cause harm. He frequently reminds himself that people often err out of ignorance rather than malice, and that to be angry with them is as irrational as being angry with a stumbling child or a disobedient animal. Whenever you are offended at any man's fault, immediately turn to yourself and consider what fault of your own is most like his, he advises. This empathetic perspective prevents resentment and promotes a more rational, compassionate response. It recognizes our shared humanity and the common frailties that affect all individuals. This understanding is rooted in the Stoic belief that all humans possess a spark of reason and are part of the same interconnected community. When someone acts unjustly, they are ultimately harming themselves by acting contrary to their rational nature. Therefore, our role is not to condemn, but to either teach them, if possible, or to bear with them patiently, recognizing that their actions arise from a mistaken judgment. This practice fosters forgiveness, reduces inner turmoil caused by anger, and strengthens our commitment to universal benevolence. By extending empathy, we not only improve our interactions with others, but also protect our own inner peace, ensuring that our mind remains unclouded by the destructive emotions of blame and resentment. It transforms interpersonal friction into an opportunity for patience and understanding, contributing to a more harmonious existence for all. The call to live in harmony with the natural order of the universe is a foundational principle that pervades Marcus Aurelius's philosophical outlook. He views the cosmos as a single living organism, governed by an intelligent and benevolent principle he calls nature, reason, or the logos. This universal reason orders everything with perfect rationality and purpose. For humans, to live in accordance with nature means to live in accordance with our own highest faculty, reason. We are unique among creatures in our capacity for rational thought, for moral judgment, and for communal existence. Our reason is a spark of the divine logos, an internal guide that enables us to understand the world, to make ethical choices, and to contribute to the greater good of humanity. When we align our individual reason with the universal reason, we achieve a profound sense of peace and belonging. This alignment brings not just intellectual understanding, but also a conviction that we are playing our destined role in a perfectly ordered universe. It offers solace in the face of suffering, an understanding that even perceived misfortunes are part of a larger rational design. To resist nature, to wish things were other than they are, is irrational and futile, leading only to distress. Instead, the Stoic embraces amor fati, accepting everything that happens as part of this benevolent cosmic plan. This fundamental understanding fosters a deep sense of security and trust in the universe, ensuring that our inner state remains tranquil regardless of external events, as we flow with the current of existence rather than struggling against it. Aurelius consistently emphasizes the virtue of patience and perseverance in the face of life's challenges. He recognizes that the path of virtue is not always easy, and that adversity is an inevitable part of human existence. Instead of succumbing to despair or giving up, he urges himself to meet difficulties with steadfastness and an unyielding commitment to his principles. Be like the rock that the waves keep crashing against. It stands firm and tames the fury of the water, he writes. This analogy powerfully conveys the Stoic ideal of resilience. Patience is required not only in enduring external hardships, but also in the ongoing process of self-improvement. It takes time and consistent effort to cultivate virtue, to correct faulty judgments, and to achieve inner tranquility. Aurelius acknowledges that he, too, struggles with impulses and imperfections, but he never advises giving up. Instead, he advocates for persistent, diligent effort, a continuous return to philosophical principles even after moments of lapse. Perseverance means viewing setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities to practice patience and to strengthen one's resolve. It is the unwavering commitment to continue striving for wisdom and virtue, knowing that the journey itself is the reward. This patient endurance ensures that we develop a robust character, capable of weathering any storm and emerging stronger, maintaining our integrity and peace of mind through all of life's trials. It is the steady, unyielding effort that forges true inner strength. The understanding that the only true harm is self-inflicted through our own irrational judgments or vicious actions is a profoundly empowering tenet that Marcus Aurelius reiterates throughout his philosophical reflections. He consistently teaches that external events, regardless of their severity, be it physical pain, illness, loss of reputation, or even death, cannot by themselves diminish our inherent worth or corrupt our character. The true damage comes only from within, from our own faulty interpretations of these events, our surrender to negative emotions, or our failure to act in accordance with reason and virtue. Remove the judgment, and you have removed the hurt, he states, encapsulating this radical internal locus of harm. This principle is the cornerstone of Stoic invincibility. It means that our peace of mind, our happiness, and our moral integrity are always within our own control. We're not passive victims of circumstance, but active agents in determining our inner state. If we maintain our inner citadel, if we exercise our capacity for rational thought and virtuous action, then no external misfortune can touch our inner core. This understanding liberates us from the fear of external events and empowers us to face any challenge with courage and equanimity. It is a constant reminder that the battle for our well-being is fought on the battlefield of our own mind, and that as long as our character remains uncorrupted, we remain fundamentally unharmed. This bedrock principle provides an unwavering foundation for a life of resilience, purpose, and enduring tranquility, allowing us to navigate the turbulent seas of existence with a steady hand and a clear mind. Aurelius consistently champions the practice of gratitude for existence itself, for the opportunity to live, reason, and contribute. While he constantly reminds himself of the impermanence of all things and the brevity of life, this contemplation is not meant to foster cynicism, but rather a profound appreciation for the present moment and the gift of life. Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to live. The time that is allotted to you is short. Live while you live, while it is in your power, he implores. This urges a deep appreciation for each breath, each day, and the very capacity for conscious experience. This gratitude extends to recognizing our place in the vast, interconnected cosmos, understanding that to exist as a rational human being is a privilege. It is an antidote to complaint, envy, and the endless pursuit of more, shifting focus instead to appreciating what is already given. By actively cultivating gratitude, Aurelius teaches us to find contentment in the simplicity of existence and to acknowledge the benevolence of the universal order, even when faced with personal hardship. This practice fosters a more positive and resilient mindset, allowing us to find joy and purpose in simple things and to face challenges with a spirit of thankful acceptance. It is a vital emotional practice that grounds us in the present, connecting us to the benevolent aspects of the universe, and ensuring that even in difficult times we can find reasons to be grateful for the gift of life and the opportunity to exercise virtue. The emphasis on living a life of simplicity, free from unnecessary attachments and desires, is a recurring theme in Aurelius's meditations. He urges himself to strip away the superfluous, to distinguish between true needs and artificial wants, and to find contentment in a life unburdened by excessive material possessions or complex social obligations. If you would rid yourself of the fear of death, reflect on how quickly those who clung to life most dearly passed away, he notes, implying that attachments to externals lead to greater fear and suffering. This call to simplicity is not an ascetic rejection of all worldly goods, but a rational detachment that prevents them from controlling our inner state. By consciously simplifying our lives, we reduce sources of anxiety, envy, and dissatisfaction. Less desire for external things means less frustration when they are unobtainable or lost. It means more mental energy available for cultivating virtue and pursuing what truly matters. Aurelius understood that material possessions and social status are ephemeral and ultimately indifferent to our true well-being. True richness lies in an uncluttered mind, a virtuous character, and an inner peace that is independent of external circumstances. This practice fosters a profound sense of self-sufficiency and inner freedom, making our happiness resilient to the whims of fortune and the pressures of societal expectations. It allows us to focus on the essential, to appreciate the simple gifts of existence, and to live a more tranquil, purposeful, and authentic life, unencumbered by the weight of unnecessary external baggage. Finally, Aurelius consistently highlights the paramount importance of communal responsibility and the inherent social nature of human beings. He views all rational beings as interconnected parts of a single universal community, much like limbs of a single body. What is not good for the beehive is not good for the bee, he famously asserts, encapsulating the idea that individual flourishing is inextricably linked to the well-being of the collective. This principle mandates that our actions must always be guided by a sense of duty to humanity, a commitment to justice, and a willingness to contribute positively to the world around us. If you're still listening, you can subscribe for more such videos. Thanks for watching.